Hey everybody, this is Coach Tara with my mom here, Sandra Copeland. We are discussing declaration number 3, and that is we shall defeat our demons. This chapter, I got to be honest with you, we've had quite a week over here, and it's been very difficult for me to sit down and read it all. I've been kind of crawling out of my skin. However, I don't want to put this off another day. I took off last week because I had a friend out here from I haven't seen in 15 years, and we were just chilling and hanging out. I didn't want to worry about doing anything, even though I enjoy this. And then we had a family tragedy happen, so I haven't really read much. Okay, but I did want to put off this chapter because this chapter kind of really touches home to everything that's going on right now, currently in my personal life, kind of thing. And so we shall defeat our demons, and it opens with this quote: "A person who doubts himself is like a man who would enlist the ranks of his enemies and bear arms against himself." That's by Alexander Dumas. And this entire chapter is about how you're not alone. Even the greatest of greats go through periods of doubt. They go through periods of where they let that you know how you have the angel and the devil thing going on your shoulders in the old cartoons. Everybody has that nagging voice that, instead of it being your gut instinct and your truest self, tries to pull you away from yourself. It's the thing that keeps you in jobs that you hate, in marriages that are loveless, and it's the thing that keeps you doing things that leads you to a life of regret and unhappiness. And it's the demons that you have to slay. He talks about in this chapter about how it's the enemy within. Defiance is the thing that likes to pretend it's your gut, but it's not your gut. And he teaches us how to transform these things with tools like faith, with things like action. Action is huge. I mean, when in doubt, you just keep going. He teaches us how we can use the tool of love for ourselves to keep moving forward. And what else? Of course, courage, which courage is really, to me, a combination of all of those: faith, action, and love. Right? So, Mom, I know today you were in the website there on the coursework. Why don't you give us some feelings that you had about what's going on in this?
Okay, well, we have to defeat our demons, and one question we have to ask is, what is in us that is holding us back? Introduce yourself to the enemy within. He breaks it down as, he says, like a three-headed beast. Yeah. Doubt, delay, and division.
Yep.
A quick glance into your own tired eyes often reveals a knowledge that we are standing in our own way. Greatness belongs to those who have mastered their own internal world. It's like you ask yourself, why aren't you showing up more?
Yeah. You know, Mom, this is really interesting. When I read that part today, I actually did some reading, guys. When I read that part today, I remembered something extremely vivid that I experienced throughout my teenage years and in my 20s. Because in my teenage years, I'm just a kid being a little shit, right? But when you're in your 20s, you're no longer a kid anymore. You're an adult. Even if you're a really young one, you're still an adult. And I spent a lot of time in bars. I spent a lot of time snorting cocaine. I spent a lot of time drunk. And I spent a lot of time in bathrooms because of all those things, okay? And one of the biggest memories, or one of the most impactful things that I used to experience was I would look myself in the mirror and look in my eyes and just, like, exactly how he described this, like, what the fuck are you doing? I mean, I would literally be like, what the fuck are you doing here? is that crazy or what? I mean, there are people that aren't experiencing, drugs and drinking and bars and stuff like that are still going through that right now, leading what we would perceive from the outside a really normal life, and they get alone and they look at themselves and they're disgusted.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that if you're finding that happening to yourself, stop and give yourself a freaking break for a minute. And recognize, like what my mom was just saying, recognize that I don't want you to take any responsibility away from yourself. You're responsible for what's going on in your life. I want you to recognize that you have a choice. And that in order for your life to improve, you've got to take the action. You've got to have the courage. You've got to love yourself out of it. You got to do that. You have to have faith.
You have to believe in your own ability to learn and figure things out with enough focus, time, and education, and believe that you can learn.
Yep. Yep. And if you don't believe it really, like right this minute, I want you to think about if you were a child, if you were a baby again, okay, and you were just learning how to walk. Would you have ever learned how to walk if you gave up the first couple of times you fell?
Yeah.
Walking's not easy. And guess what else isn't easy that we learn really, really young? We learn how to talk. We learn how to articulate our feelings. Even if we don't say them out loud, we know what they are in our head. You are capable of all of it. If someone else can do it, so can you.
Mm-hmm.
And nothing can limit you but your own self. The only thing that can really stop you is what you put in your own mind and that you allow to use as an excuse. You allow yourself to use that way.
Mm-hmm. And also, like delay, nothing has done more than delay to make potentially great men and women miss their moment.
Procrastination. That's what he's talking about there.
Yeah.
What was it? The past couple of days, you and I have been talking about a business venture that I want to do because I want to do it, and I had been kind of thinking about it for a while because it's something I've done before. It'd be kind of, like, wow, how many times are you going to venture into that business? 3 times are either a charm or it's over. You know what I'm saying? It's one or the other. But what I realized was that I have a few days before I am physically able to take part of that venture. And I knew that I needed to answer my questions now, and that to delay on that, to wait until I had the money in my pocket, you know what I mean, would be yet another week. What if I missed? You can't allow yourself to wait when there's something extreme that's giving you a lot of stress, that's freaking you out, that you don't want to do. Whether it's call one of your utilities and ask them for some more time on the bill, or call your landlord and say, hey, I'm going to need some more time, or call whatever it is that you need to do that's stressing you out. You need to just get it done right now. Because what happens when you delay is you put yourself into that terrible fight or flight, your cortisol levels raise, and you don't get anything done right. And you miss the boat. Okay? The opportunity knocks and you don't hear it because you're living in your own fear. Gosh, I wish I could come up with a lot of the Jeffrey Combs sayings that he uses. But you really are selling yourself short every time that you procrastinate and delay on taking action to make something happen for yourself. You don't have to worry about being hasty, because you're not. You already know if you've wasted some time, okay? So you just need to take action now. It's never too late. Sometimes you might have to wait to do something you want to do. Like I have to wait until next month to be able to take action on what I want to do. That doesn't mean I can't get prepared. That doesn't mean I can't get answers, questions answered. That doesn't mean that I can't get my head ready and start moving towards that and start making that happen for myself. Because you know what? The bottom line is, if I hesitate, I'm gonna hesitate my way to complete and total poverty. I'm gonna hesitate my way into unhappiness and depression and guilt and resentment and regret.
You have to
That's,
overcome the terror within
yep, you've
yourself.
got to do it because it's real enough that you can go ahead and meet that head on and take care of it.
Mm-hmm.
You've got to be your own warrior. That's why I put the Spartan in the headline. Excuse my cough. The Spartan, because the Spartan story is, 300 ragtag guys coming up against 30,000, if not more, and defeating, because they're lion hearts, their courage. You've got to be your own hero.
Mm-hmm.
And you've got to be willing to pull the sword and make it happen. Because if not, it is no good. It's not the results that you're here for.
Yep.
What else you got there? I'm vaping my little brains out just so you all know what I'm doing.
Well, there's questions that you can ask yourself. Where should I have more faith in my life? Because faith puts a great part of it. And where should I demonstrate more courage?
Mm-hmm.
With whom should I give more love? Those are 3 questions that I got from there. Because I listened to the video also.
Okay. So repeat those one more time so people can write them down.
Okay, where should I have more faith in my life? Where should I demonstrate more courage? And with whom should I give more love?
Those are good. That's real good.
Because you have to have faith, you have to have courage, and you have to have the love, especially love of yourself, in order to have the faith and the courage.
Mm-hmm. That's very good, very good.
There's something else that he wrote I got from here. When love springs unfiltered from your heart, then the last impulse of defiance is vanquished. Love
Yeah.
is always the final and most complete cure to our inner demons.
Love completes our healing, for we can have all the faith and action in the world, but without love there is no strength. It is love that gives faith its raw and divine powers. Love that causes us to be courageous, take actions that we would never take for ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
That's why in like network marketing or MLM or any business, really, this should be the reason why you go to work. You come up with your why, and it's usually something separate from yourself. You know what I mean? Sometimes for a short period of time it can be about money, but it's really about being there to love who you want to love as freely as you want to love them without restraints, whether they be financial or time restraints or emotional restraints. You've got to really be in touch with your why, because that's where your love is.
Uh-huh.
And it doesn't have to be a person. It can be a thing. You could be so passionate about a thing. Like somebody said to me we were talking about doing what you love and the money will follow, da-da-da-da-da. I think a lot of people are confused about what money is, because money is really just a currency,
Mm-hmm.
and it changes throughout history all the time. Sometimes it's gold, sometimes it's chickens, sometimes it's paper. It is what it is. When you do what you love, the money is in it already. It's already there. You could be passionate about painting or creating music, art, writing. Nothing else matters when you're doing that. So if you can make time to make that your primary actions in your day, if you can find a way to do that, whether that means that for a few years you got to bust your butt and work overtime and put a lot of money in the bank so you can pay the bills so that you can make sure you can do that, then that's what you got to do. You have to know your why. You know, if you know that you want to be around your family or around your husband or your wife or your partner, and you want to be able to, you know, say, you know what, this weekend let's get on a plane and let's go do something crazy, you know, and go to lunch in a foreign country.
Mm-hmm.
You've got to be a hold of that why long enough to make it a reality.
Yep.
Because if you don't keep it in your sights, then everything you do is in vain, and it doesn't really matter, you know. Because nothing. If you don't plan to succeed, you're planning to fail. If you don't make it happen for yourself and really embrace it, then you know you end up in a really dark spot. A dark spot like me in my 20s, sitting in a bathroom, like looking at the mirror, like, what the fuck are you doing? How many times do you have to go through that in your life? And do you need to follow being totally down and out is overrated. You don't have to wait till you fucking hit rock bottom, guys. Do it now.
Mm-hmm.
When you think everything's going just fine, do it now. Because you know life is unpredictable. You know that things happen, and you're just not sure what. The only thing you can predict and the only thing you can be sure of is how solid your heart is when things happen around you. This way, things aren't happening to you; they're happening around you, and you're being who you are, no matter what. Does that make sense?
Yeah. That's
Do you have
all.
anything more to say?
On page 133, they have the sword of courage.
Uh-huh.
We now know defiance and its three serpent heads, the doubt, delay, and division. That's interesting. I don't know what that delay breeds what? Indolence?
Indolence. Let me look that up real quick while we're here. Because I'm thinking I know it in my head, but at the same time, oh, I have a new mouse that's acting crazy. Hold on a second. Let me look it up. Indolence. Indolence meaning avoidance of activity or exertion. Laziness.
Oh, okay. Delay, yeah, you just sit around doing nothing.
Indolence.
Yep, we're saying it correctly too.
Excuses.
Mm-hmm. The deadly sin things, you know. I'm going to read the last paragraph to this chapter, and then we're going to see you next week, okay? So first I'm going to read the last paragraph of this chapter to really hit home with you guys, and next week we'll be going over declaration number 4, and we shall advance with abandon. It's time to just woohoo and advance. So here's the last paragraph. All great people of history, all of the heroes and leaders and innovators who lit humanity's way out of darkness and ignorance, forged within themselves the courage to overcome their internal conflicts when it mattered most. In many ways, they are just like us. They worried, they procrastinated, and sometimes they had lower opinions of their fellow human beings. But what made them celebrated, what pushed society forward, what gave birth to their legend, was the sheer will to overcome such impulses and to faithfully, actively, and lovingly fight for a better life for themselves and for others. Let us learn from them. Let us master ourselves. Let us now add our own chapter of courage to the good book of humanity.
That's good.
I love this book. This guy, I love him. I don't like the sound of his voice when I'm sleeping, but I love Brendan Bouchard. So, yes, next week, Tuesday, back to the normal day. What say you? I know, we'll figure it out. So far, it's just me and you, but I enjoy sitting here doing this. I think it's fun. Declaration number 4. We shall advance with abandons. Cowards die many times before their deaths. The vigilant never taste the death but once. William Shakespeare. Julius Caesar.
Yep.
Thank you so much, guys, for hanging out with us. And if you haven't got the book, join the club and try the link. You might be able to get it for free. If you can't get it for free, you can find it on Amazon or even probably his website. So we'll see you all later.
Okay.
Say bye.
Bye.